Scritty here at demondemon.com. There we go, sort of revealed. I'm going for mopeds for sale or mopeds for sale, either the letters or the numbers, and it looks pretty suicidal if you go down this competition column. It looks like a pretty suicidal one to go for. Competition for every phrase there is high. I'm in negotiations now for a company to an affiliate company who I will sell mopeds for. I already do something very similar to this, but the site I'm going to be using isn't absolutely brand new, but it's only a few weeks old. I do have a site in a very similar niche, but that isn't that site. This is an almost EMD for that phrase. They only deliver to within the UK, so I'm only interested in my local searches. Okay, let's just get a few things rolling, get some information out there. Your keywords, very obviously, they are very important. We'll be cherry picking some of these keywords, and this is about the first 10 or 12, 15 maybe. We'll be looking at those and writing content targeted exactly for those keywords. We'll be making pages and posts targeting those keywords. Some of it I'll be writing myself, some of it will be outsourced to professional writers who do a lot of really good LSI work, and I'll let the members of Demon know who that is. I'm not advertising anything here, so it won't be like a link, certainly not an affiliate link. We'll just go through the keywords now very quickly, and then a few of the rest of the columns, and that'll sort of be it for day one. You get an idea of where I'm going. So mopeds for sale, great. High competition, very low local searches, but the most relevant phrase for that, and Google associates it with the mostly mopeds for sale, 40,000. What that says to me is if you're above the fold on page 1, which is typically number 6 on page 1 or higher, you're going to be getting Google search results for this phrase in the thousands. If you are number 1, you'll get about 18 to 19,000 for some keywords, up to about 21,000 if it's a good keyword. But if you're down about 6, you're going to be getting about 1,000. Next, there are several other versions. Cheap mopeds for sale, but that includes the entire key phrase. Scooter mopeds for sale, but you've got scooters, which is confusing for some people because they think it's like the kid's toy with the wheel at the front, wheel at the back, and you skip your leg along at the side of it. In the UK, scooters is probably the more common word for mopeds, but all the good scooter EMDs have gone. So scooter, but that's an entirely different profile. The search factors are different, the CPC is different, the profile in terms of searches throughout the year is quite different. Cheap mopeds, that's another good one. New moped for sale, that's a good one. Anything that says second hand or used, not very good, because I'm not going to be the affiliate deal I'm going to be going through doesn't do second hand or used, and I don't want people to be arriving at my site and being disappointed by the products that are there and feeling that they've been misled. And there's plenty of potential here, even though it is all high competition. As I said, this is going for a big nut. This is perhaps putting 3 months work in, but making an income for life, not in a niche, not selling a television set that's only going to be popular for 6 months and then you've got to build a new site. This is actually saying put some real effort, some grunt work in, perhaps for 3 months, maybe even 6 months, and make a real contribution to your salary, a good salary from one site that will last as long as the product lasts. And you pick a product that's probably going to be around for years, you're sorted. Anyway, back to what we're doing here. Local search is good, above the fold over 1,000. Cost per click, these figures are hopeless. It's such a shame, really. I use my other site, which is in a similar niche, and I know you can't get I get a score for the landing page of 9 because Google scores your landing page, and then changes your ranking in its paid advertising according to how well your ranking page is a little bit, or adds that to the fact of how much money you're prepared to bid. But I'd paid 9 was the score, which is very high. You get lots of 6s and 7s normally, and you can even get away with like a 4, but this was 9 out of 10. And every time I bid below about £1.20, I got the little thing back, below first page bid. And I was thinking, well, this here is telling me 25p. And then when I actually come to do it, it's £1.20. And it was closer to £1.40 by the time it would accept a bid as being a first page bid. So this is hopeless. Such a shame. Last thing, local search trends. Interesting here. You can see in all of these. This is the winter. We've got the first few months of spring here, is where I'm doing this. But back in the winter, there's a dip, and that's to be expected. It's not massive. It doesn't go to zero, but there's a real dip around Christmas and the month before and the month after on all of these. So it is a little bit seasonal, and you need to bear that in mind. If you have, through the late spring and early summer, you're doing brilliant. We come to some brilliant months here, and fantastic to about August, September, October, and then it dips. Oh dear, Christmas terrible, and then it picks up again January, February, March. So bear that in mind. Don't rely on the income as being steady from this word. What I'm going to do with these keywords is pick out 8 or 10. I'm going to create content exactly targeted for some of these words. I'm going to write pages and add URLs to the website which are targeted specifically for some of these words. I'm going to be very cautious because some of these phrases have exactly the same profile, and this is something which, unless you're quite canny, you might not be aware of. Scooter for sale and scooters for sale are listed separately, but if you have a look, you will see high 246, there's a penny difference, but that profile there and that profile there in terms of the number of searches per year is also pretty much identical, and that should send an alarm to when you write your content, because you think you're getting keyword variation by sometimes using the phrase scooters for sale and sometimes using the phrase scooter for sale, but I would suggest you're not, and Google is treating that as exactly the same keyword. While we're on keyword density, one other thing. If you use cheap mopeds for sale once per 100 words, so you write a 100-word article and you use that phrase in it once, your keyword density is 4%. It isn't the number of times you use the phrase, you have to count how many words are in that phrase. What this means is the longer the keyword, really, to get it mentioned more than once and get the relevancy up, you need to use longer content. I wouldn't look at anything under 600 words in terms of one URL's worth of content if I was optimizing for cheap mopeds for sale. Then I could quite happily use it 5 times, once in the title, one H1 tag, one H2 tag, a couple of other times in there, and we'll go on to titles and H1s and H2s and whatnot as we go along. But you need to divide the number of words by a number of words in your article by the number of words in the phrase you're going for. Don't think that's one, and so you've got a keyword density of one you haven't. Also, keywords and phrases which entirely incorporate other words, keywords and phrases. So if you're doing cheap mopeds for sale and you're also doing mopeds for sale, you have to count every time mopeds for sale is there. That says the last 3 words of that, word 2, 3 and 4 are mopeds for sale, and so is that. That's not 2 separate times. If you put that in 3 times, this one in 3 times, that one in 3 times, you're in effect spamming that one 6 times because it's entirely included in there. You have to be very, very careful. And it's probably less is more, and after Penguin, a lot less is more. You're better off having a lot more content and lowering your keyword density down to sort of 2.5% maximum, whereas probably pre-Panda, sort of 15 months ago, 4% was fine and probably recommended. Now you're looking at sort of 2.5% and really doing your calculations. This again, which is another product of the post-Panda world we live in, is a requirement for you to have more content. If you're going to add relevancy to your content, if you just mention that once in 100 words, it's 4%, which is probably a little bit high, but perversely, you've not really established it as relevant because you've probably got lots of other 4-word phrases. Well, of course, the whole thing is phrases. So you're better off doing 600 words and getting this in, maybe 700 words and getting this in 4 times, once in the title, one H1, one H2, and maybe one other time in the body of the text. But we'll go into all that when we do content. So there's a sort of the reveal of what I'm going for. I'm sorry it's taken sort of 2 weeks longer than I thought. Penguin sort of got in the way, and then what I wanted to do is establish stuff before I actually told you what was going on with this case study, because I didn't want any sort of sabotage and stuff going on and people copying me word for word. You can't. I'm already 3 or 4 stages on from this with my website. The content's already written, lots of it's already up, there's already some backlinking work going on, and I'll be doing the case study material for that in the next few weeks. So you'd really be chasing my tail and a long way behind if you just thought, I know, I'll copy exactly what Scritti is doing, it would be a disaster. If you go back down the list on the right hand side on demadema.com, and you'll see how I looked for keywords in a previous sort of little tutorial thing I did. And when I do the little article that's going to go with this on Dema Demon, I shall put a link to that, so you know how you arrive at deciding this is a good one to go for. Even though, let's be honest, it looks like a disastrous one. But there you go. I said I'd set myself a tricky one, and that's what I've done. Scritti here at demadema.com, signing off.